Hello everyone, happy Monday. We have an exciting topic to talk about and it is something I just felt called to speak upon. What is going on in the world, like what is really going wrong in the world at the moment. In a special way, I'll explain in a minute what I mean with that, and particularly what is your call to action as a visionary, as a pioneer, as that person that is running their business, their entrepreneurial projects, their, artistry, whatever you exactly do in that business endeavor. You have a certain purpose for that. You're meant here to be here to lead, to change things, to paradigm shift, to create what has not been created before, or in a way that it has not been done before, right? And the time is getting more and more interesting, right? I've said that before over the last years, several times. Today and this time span overall that we are in at the moment, like every one of us, is a very interesting time to be alive. And if you look at why your soul potentially has decided to come back now in this era in the world, it is because you have something, you're bringing in something that is needed in the world. And to that I want to speak today, because we're seeing it clearer and clearer and clearer if you just pivot your focus. And I might become and be a bit, let's say, energized in this here today, because I really am starting to feel more and more the urge to address this in a bit of a more intense way, right? There is certain things when you look at the world right now, they are almost like it's a beautiful movie that is being gifted to you that shows you more or less exactly, okay, I need to address this in my content. I need to deal and offer things that go into that direction, that move the needle this way or that way. And it might be exactly that is where you feel stuck with your business. You feel that where you are at, that level of success, the way that you've been running your business over the last years, which has worked the last years, which has given you fulfillment, financial success, reach, influence, all of the things to that certain level that you've already reached, right? Multiple 6, 7, multiple 7 figures, maybe even beyond. So literally the classic boxes you have ticked of, oh, successful entrepreneur, business owner, artist, whatever that is for you, okay? Yet you feel that there's this disconnect and you feel what is going on in the world overall. Maybe you cannot put your finger to it. You can't find your voice in that. You can't find exactly what is your take of that, while you feel the turmoil, you feel the change going on, and you feel that you're drawn towards it. You just haven't found your feet within or in that thing yet. And this is what I want to address today, because my loves, it is really time, it is more than time to get your focus out of this small ass space here online, where most of us and you here in this group, in the coaching space, the consulting space, the healer space, all of that, what we do, which is amazing, but you see and you feel the changes within this industry. And this is just a tiny bubble of when you look at the world, okay? And I see so many out there being so focused on, oh my goodness, the social media game, how do I need to run the platforms, the algorithms change, the platforms are changing, where do I need to go, do I need to go on school, blah, 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 all of that, okay? I need you to stop focusing like you're obsessed with that, to figure out what is your next move so you can expand and grow and take your business also to that next level, which may not be the first interest that you have at the moment, but it is like number 2, 3, 4, somewhere there. Entrepreneurial as you are and visionary as you are, obviously the business is supposed to grow with you as well. Yet you are looking in the wrong places. And that leads me to what is wrong in the world. In order for you to find what that is that you are searching for, even though I know you've all been through the awakening and the stuff, you're not supposed to chase and all of that, I know you're aware, that's all good. Still, head back up, eyes back out of that box and all of these things that you're looking at. I mean specifically social media. Don't obsess with where the platforms are going, where the algorithms are changing, if you should move them on Threads, or what is about TikTok, or how are we going to run here in Facebook groups, or should you go more live, or what type of content should you be doing? Do you need to refine your messaging? Blah, blah. Do you need more lead generation in whichever way? Yes, obviously this is all of the marketing and the sales game in your business, but this is not the right point in your journey to focus on these things. You lack the clarity in the moment. What is the bigger picture and what is the overall direction? So that's why I'm calling you out. You need to pull your ass out of that. I'm going to be that specific, okay? You need to pull your ass out of that. That is one topic. The other topic you need to pull your ass out as well, mostly, is the whole journey of self-healing and self-growth and self-development, not per se overall. Obviously, you know, we're all in this ascension journey, and then there's a week which is a bit more intense and a week that is just more in flow. But overall, put this as a focus priority a bit backwards as well, because I know you've gone through several of these cycles. You know how to self-manage in a way. You know how to regulate emotions when that comes up overall, right? We all have this next level. This is what I do with clients a lot, you know, take them through these next levels, handle themselves at bigger levels and you know, handle all of the stuff. But focus-wise, the question is focus-wise. Where are you putting all your focus? Are you focused in, oh my goodness, what is the next thing that is coming up that I need to transcend? What is the next thing that I need to work through? Blah, blah. And then the other focus is, oh my goodness, what is going to go on in social media? So these are the two things where I see, especially people here in the online space, in coaching, in consulting, in all of our service-based stuff, but also everyone else who's running like a bigger brand, personal brand on social, where you have a huge following. And that also may be some artists or musicians. I see that in this genre as well. So let's all take focus back out, get our asses out there, because the world is mirroring back nowadays more than ever beautifully where we need to look at. And why am I saying this today? And why am I addressing this today? Because maybe those guys of you who are also based in Europe, or those who one way or the other have knowledge about that in Europe, there have been or are going on elections for the European Parliament. And I'm not going to dive into the politics, right? And there's a reason for that as well. Not that I don't want to take a stand, but just one sentence on that. I don't believe in the current political systems anywhere in the world anyways. So I do believe that sooner or later we won't have any of these structures as well. Likewise, you know, you've heard me talking about maybe the question or the idea of countries and borders, how we know them today. I don't think this is going to be sustainable for our future. And likewise, I don't think that political systems are going to sustain just the idea of how it's organized. I'm not talking about a specific party, right? I'm talking about the system itself. I don't think it's sustainable for the future. So that's why we're not going to dive into the depth of politics, but we're going to dive into what is these election results. And yesterday it was election day in Germany, right? So that means 83 million people that we have. And it was the first time that even 16-year-olds could vote. And I don't know how many exactly. Let me guess, probably like 50 million people. 60 million people must have been out there voting. I can check the exact number, but just to give you a rough idea of the amount of people, right? So, and what is the return or the outcome that we're seeing at the moment? And then especially there's a huge debate at the moment on LinkedIn, like it's all firing up because surprise, surprise, what happened? There's the party that in Germany represents the more right-wing part or opinions, I'd say. Got significantly high results, and also they split it up because of this first time voting of the younger generation, the 16-year-olds, which they were not able and allowed to vote before. It was the first time for them. So they split up the age group 16 to 21, I think it was, or 24, it was 16 to 24. And within this very young group of people, also you could see the two highest shares were the very conservative parties, or the one very conservative, and the very right-wing party had most percentages in voices collected within that age group. And then there's a spread, like the green parties, the ecological parties. Then there is one party here across Europe that is quite new, but it stands for more innovation. Overall, whatever they define as innovative, right? But this is kind of a positioning that they take. And that got quite a few votes as well. So now you can ask yourself, if you haven't been following this interaction here, and there's the other European countries having elections overall, like in these weeks as well. So it's overall for the European Parliament. And what can we see from these results, from the discussions, not only from the results from it, but what I want to take here in to see what is wrong in the world is not necessarily the results that we see. And not everyone is bitching on the results. All of the big parties just shit on everyone who voted the right-wing party and calling everyone who voted that Nazis. You know, it's very indifferentiated what is going on. And there's another narrative going on, which I found quite surprising as a reaction, but it is just a mirror of the same thing, what already happened in the US, just a bit of a different outer circumstances, because the other big call here, the big narrative I've seen on LinkedIn today in so many posts, was a call out of the older age groups, and older starting probably around the 40s and then 50s, 60s, 70s, you know, to the boomer generation. That age group is now calling for a ban of TikTok in Germany, because apparently the right-wing party here did a very good job on TikTok marketing and building brand and marketing themselves, and they reached quite a lot, like a huge share of their audience on social media, which all of the other classic parties failed to do, like completely failed to do and run the social media game in a successful way overall. And that is not new. So this is continuously for years and years and years. So instead of being curious and be like, oh, how could we use this? Like, no, let's ban it. Let's push for a ban of the damn social media platform in Germany. And that is why I got curious. I'm like, okay, interesting. And the other thing I've seen, and that is what I want to bring in here as well. So one more information, and then let me share my view and my perspective on that, and what this means for you and your business and the opportunity, and you finding where and how to take your stand. Because we need to look beyond the facts, okay? We need to look way through the information that we see, way through and beyond the opinions that people share, and get the bigger picture. Like, what are we really seeing? This is my invitation to you. Look at the world. Again, get your ass out of social media optimization and self-optimization and healing. Take a step back, look at the world, and see what it is beautifully mirroring back to you. Because the other thing that I've been seeing is that the younger generation then, and there's a lot of, mainly entrepreneurs I've seen, and that just, you know, made my heart jump. Young entrepreneurs, and young, I mean, between 20 and like 27, 28-ish, the ones that I've seen, taking a stand on the situation, not only in Germany, but in Europe and the world overall, because they have a more global mindset. And that is what I'm inviting you all, no matter which country you're from. Stop narrowing down your view and perspective on your own damn country. We cannot afford to do that anymore, no matter which country you're in. We cannot afford anymore to only look at our own country, within our own country borders, it's not working like that anymore. We need to look at global dynamics, no matter what it is, right? So again, step back, broader perspective, see what you see, notice what you can see and what you can sense. So the discussion from this younger generation, the entrepreneurial generation, on these narratives, on these results, is a very positive and curious one, because they are challenging what is, and now comes the essential part, what is the needs and the desires and the unmet questions of those voting in extreme ways, whichever that is. And it doesn't even matter which party exactly it is, because it's the same idea in each country. And then when you look at those who are getting votes, especially through social media, what is their marketing based on? Is no surprise, it is very fear-based. While at the same time, it is exactly, marketing-wise, it's brilliant, addressing exactly the needs and the unmet desires of those they targeting. And this can make us curious and understand that it is not about us or the broader population going now into their own fear, in fear of the unknown, because they don't understand and they're not willing to dive in deeper. It is a certain level of arrogance from the established position in the world that they claim to have, consciously or unconsciously, that taking the stand of, but I'm now already like 50 years, I'm in this industry for 25 years, and this is the discussion I'm seeing of those who are suggesting the ban of TikTok because it's just the evil of social media. Okay, the younger ones, the entrepreneurial ones, are suggesting, okay, what can we learn from it? Because it's not going to go away overall. If you ban TikTok, there's going to be the next platform, right? This is a way broader perspective on that. And it is then going really deeper to, okay, what are topics and needs that need to be addressed to the whole broader population? Because, and this is now where I'm coming to round this off and to share what I'm seeing, the potential that I'm seeing, and also I want to say excitement, and don't get that in the wrong context, but the excitement of it all being mirrored and thrown up. Remember a few lives ago I said what is going on in the world overall right now in every damn industry? If you look at business potential at the moment, I said imagine every industry in the world that exists as a box, and within each box there's several balls representing the specifica of the industry. And what's going on at the moment is all of the boxes are thrown up in the air, turned upside down, all of the balls are falling down, but they get rearranged in a completely different and new way. New industries are forming. And the same happens for all other bigger sectors in the world. And what we're seeing now is this, it's just the election topic is just another mirror, another projector, a projection field, and where we can see what it is that is coming from inside of people. And it's the same idea here, and this is what creates a lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty, just like with the economy. Because with the economy, what is scary is, oh my goodness, where am I going to get money? What's going to happen to my job? Is my business going to be sustainable? All of that. What is going on right now is bringing uncertainty into how we're going to live. Is it safe to be in a certain area? Will there be restrictions in a society? Will we be dominated by what sort of a political rulership? People don't know. People are uncertain. People are afraid. And it's the same. It's the same. You can say the ways that we live, the societies. That's why I'm talking about advanced societies. That is what we need right now. Advanced economies, advanced societies. They bring about advanced lifestyles, if you want. And that goes way beyond the glamorous digital nomad lifestyle, billionaire, on a yacht, blah, blah. I can work from anywhere. Just give me internet and then I have a mojito and that paint picture, the big influencers or the Bali people. And I'm not saying it's not working, right? There's people who are doing an amazing job on that, but the illusion picture that it's all just sunshiny, okay? You know what I mean? The whole turmoil part that we're in right now, and I know sometimes it's hard to capture because it is complex, because it involves the whole world. But what it all comes down to, and this is why I need to address this here with you, because you are also visionary people. I know you are able to see and to sense what other people cannot see yet. For one thing, because you are further ahead in the journey of personal development and growth. That means you have learned more than the average person how to self-regulate. That means even though you feel fear and you feel insecurity and uncertainty, you have tools and you've learned how to regulate and how to navigate. You are used to growing because you're enforcing that. You are moving with intention through expansion. And you know that this change, the expansion always brings change. You know that this always comes along with fear that is triggered because there is unknown. And then you know how to regulate. Sometimes then you need help or support, and that's fine. We all do need that. But you're way beyond what the average person out there is able and has learned. Number one. And number two, that's the specifica, is as a visionary, as a pioneer, you have that knowing. That is what comes from soul. Comes from the lifetimes lived before. That comes from your ancestral line. That comes from your, when I talk about soul side, opening back up your supersensory skill sets, if that's light language, if that's channeling in any way, if that is connecting to any other super senses, if you want. Right, where you can connect to the information that is there beyond the spoken word, that is there beyond what you can see with your eyes physically, the materialized things on earth. There's more levels of information. And I know more of you are tapping into reopening and remembering that. And that sets you apart as well. Not everyone is at that point. Plus, you as the visionary are at a point, and not everyone really is there, not everyone will be there, with the ability and the capacity to connect all of the different dots in a completely new way, in this visionary way that has not been there before. And this is what the world needs more and more and more. And this is why I'm so passionate about supporting people and working with you personally, so that you own yourself in a bigger way. Because I know, not only from myself, but from my clients, when you step up into your true purpose, when it's really getting bigger and bolder, when you come to that core, it gets scary again. All of the inner journey of the self-doubt and all of that will come up again. And it's natural, but you need someone who can see within the bigger vision that helps you unlock, plus help you get access to these visionary thoughts that you have. And usually you need someone then who helps you sort it a little bit, because you have it all there, but sometimes you just struggle to put it in an order, in a structure again, not in a narrowing way, but in a structure again that it makes sense, so that you can then be at a level of clarity to be like, oh, now I see it, now I got it, boom, I can go. And then you're fast as lightning, because you're so much faster in capturing everything, seeing it, breaking it down, putting it back together in a new way. And this is what we need. This is what I mean when I say visionary leaders, pioneer people. And it doesn't even matter which exact industry you're in, because where we are right now, remember I said, step back out of the social media bubble, out of only yourself healing and development bubble, out of the concept of just looking at your own country. And I say that with lots of love, but my lovely US people, this includes you as well. There's more countries than the US in the world. I know you know that, but sometimes because your country is so huge and it has a certain position in the world, please put very, very much intention also to including that which is outside your world as well. And I'm not specifically only talking about Europe. Let's also focus, and here I'm including the Europeans again. Let's also not focus only on the US or the UK, but let's look at Latin America. There is so much potential and there's so much going on. We tend to think that, oh my goodness, this is our Western world. No, it's not anymore. It is everyone. Is there differences? Yes, right? I'm not saying everything is exactly the same. It's not. But that makes it even more interesting, challenging, interesting, but also holds potential. And I want you really to take from this. Look at your business. Look where you are hiding, consciously or unconsciously, because you have your mind, your focus too much in this optimization of your messaging, of your social media platform, of whatever it is in this online bubble within. What is the next strategy of lead generation? How can you DM more people? How can you improve your email automations and all of that? Yes, all of these things are important in your business, but at the levels where you are, you have it set up already. Yes, can there be optimization at some point? Yes, but it's no use. Likewise with your self-development journey, pushing you through the 5 millionth emotional release just for the sake of the release, because you think, oh, there's another thing that I need to let go of, another block. Yeah, probably there is something. We all have something all the time because we're evolving, but let's take away the focus from that as the major thing of, oh, I need to unlock this, or I need to resolve this block, and I need to figure out social media at a different level, at a next stage, so that I can increase my business. You know what? All of these things are going to happen as a consequence automatically as soon as you come back to the clarity of what really is the direction and what is the next thing that you're going to bring out. And I don't mean what's the program, right? We're so beyond just having, oh, I need this program and I need a container for that. Forget about that as well. Take the step back. Get your ass out of social media focus-wise. Get your ass out of the self-healing focus and look at what is in the world happening right now. Look at it as the projection field, as the mirror that is showing you exactly what we need. And that is the questions that are not answered for people. If you work with people on private, if you're not working with entrepreneurs, that is all my life coaches, my relationship coaches, my fitness, health, whatever coaches, mental health coaches, consultants. Look at why, when I've talked about the elections in Europe going on and another shift in the results, signaling that people are moving towards more right-winged parties, right? Again, not political, but look at why. How are they marketing? They are marketing to fear. What are people afraid of? Uncertainty. They don't know how they're going to live. And I don't even mean financially. I mean also socially. They don't have their basic needs met, and what they need is support in learning how to lead themselves. If you are working with B2Bs, if you work with other businesses, if you're either a business coach or if you work in any other industry where you're supporting organization structures, leadership coaches, whatever that is, right? They need the same things but packaged in a different way. Maybe they need support in being innovative, but they can only be innovative when what? When they feel safe, when people within the organizations feel safe. That is turmoil and change in the world, and we're experiencing this at a level at the moment that we haven't seen in hundreds of years, at this level where everyone could basically watch and see everything online. You just you open up TikTok, you open up any other social media platform, you can basically observe live bombings in Gaza. You can see everything. But at the same time, you can watch a beautiful photo shoot of somebody else in the Caribbean. You can see a parliament discussion in any other country. Everything is basically available. We have not had this in the world ever before. But that also means people get lost. And as a visionary, you are now called to step out as the leader that you are. And I know the past sometimes is really hard because there's so much self-doubt. There's so much self-doubt and inner insecurity if it's really safe to show all you got, because it's different. Because it's so different. Think about the X-Men. And if you've read my last post, the last one, not the one I shared today in the group here, but the last one on my profile, underneath the pinned one, the longer one. That was exactly about why, when you think about the X-Men, why are we sometimes so afraid to show all the gifts that we have, because we know they are so different, because we think we have not learned yet to control them in a positive way, that they do not hurt anyone. And they will be different. What you will be putting out there, opinions, ideas, concepts, it has to be different, because we're beyond the time and space in society where within economies or within society concepts, we cannot improve anymore and optimize anymore within the given. We have to let go of the given, step outside of that, go past that, to the side of that, wherever, but outside of it, and create new. I've met last week in an amazing, I went to a book release, and I've met an amazing entrepreneur there. That's a German guy here. He owns a business in Germany and he's so visionary. We talked about 3 hours straight, connecting on very deep levels on a very visionary ideas. And he is doing exactly that. He is working in a way that is completely groundbreaking within his industry. If you just look at the profile on LinkedIn, it says CRM systems, right? Customer relationship management systems. Sounds quite boring, quite established. But when he opened up how they are running the industry, that's why they're successful with such a small team. It was amazing because they are doing exactly that. They're taking people along the journey in a completely different way. He doesn't care if shit and a fuck if others tell him, oh, but you can't do it that way. It's like, well, why not? Let's see. And he's wildly successful with that, including the team that he has. And it's a small team, but they're making incredible business and they're shifting the whole industry. And also, they are not working in one industry, they're working cross industries. But that's what I mean. They are looking at people. This is just one tiny example. It's a tiny example. But what I'm also saying with that is, I went to this book release and I'm talking to an entrepreneur here. He's almost not on social media. He has a LinkedIn profile because he needs that to connect to people in the industry, to be findable, to be just visible somehow, okay? But he's not on Instagram. He's not anywhere else. That's what I mean. Connect with people as well there. I'm not saying leave social media completely, especially if you run your brand on social as well. But don't get so obsessed and over-focused on just that one part. All right? So if you want support on that, this is where I come into play. This is what I'm doing, because that's what I'm damn good at. And if you've wondered why in the last weeks you've only seen invitations to work with me one-on-one, well, that is because you can only work with me one-on-one. I've closed all of the other programs. I still have one group running, That will sustain for a little while, but this is not opening doors publicly. So if you're seeing this now, and if you've ever wanted to work with me, or you're feeling inspired by just this live here, or any of the other lives, or the content that is out there, and there's more to come, right? But this is the time now to just get there. Allow yourself to expand into this visionary identity. It takes a bit of ownership, but it takes the next step for you as well this is where I'm talking about disruption. Okay, you need to disrupt yourself first in order to see from a sovereign, a certain but loving point of view, to be able to look at the world and capture. Allow yourself to screen, but not in a chasing way, but in a way to observe, and all of the things that are relevant for what you got, what come to you. And matrix wise, like in the movie, with all of the different digits going everywhere, this is how the puzzle will reveal itself to you in the way that you are meant to step up, be visible, be the lighthouse outside the existing structures, okay? This is what this time is about. And this is why I needed to come on in here, the elections here in Europe, with that conversation that the results are triggering. You need to see beyond the opinions, you need to see beyond the information that is shared, and figure out and see what is the true need. What is the true need? And if you want more like a group, this is what this group is also for, to connect with more visionary people. This is the place here, right? Because this is the place when we talk about the X-Men that I just mentioned before. Remember, if you've seen any of the movies where they have this university that the guy built for them to train and learn to handle their skills. That is like the fire or the lightning bolts, or the thunder or whatever it is. Where the first experience they all had when they discovered that they had these special skills, usually the first attempts in using them where they couldn't control it was they hurt someone or they destroyed a building or something. But it was a negative experience, if you want. One that made them afraid of their own power. Until then they got to the university, shortcut, and learned A, that they are normal, that it's okay to be them, and B, they learn how they can control it in a positive way, and then how they can use it in an impactful way that is serving, right? And that is the same. It's the same process that you guys need as well. Especially because you are at the level where you are already at. Especially if you've already cracked the 7-figure mark, the multi-7-figure mark, because you have a foundation. You know what to build on, and you have the capacity. It is just now about breaking through and disrupting yourself, letting go, cutting the last cords of really allowing to set your soul free in that, to disrupt your own patterns of holding back, to disrupt your own patterns of the fear of going all in. Now is the time, and that's why you feel the calling more than ever. You feel the discomfort of staying where you are, and you feel a higher urgency of speaking truth, of not tolerating anymore the existing that you've built, the way to run your business, the way to market, the way to only run organic social media the way that we all been taught. It's not about dropping it completely, but it's about stepping back, observing, seeing the information that has been given. And don't get fooled or sucked in, right? Today I talked a lot with focus about the elections being, and the results and the discussion and the narratives around this in Europe for the European Parliament. But it's the same narrative, it's the same mirror, it's just a different mirror, but it's displaying the same tendency, and it's displaying the same needs that you can cater to as the entrepreneur that you are. Likewise when I addressed the let them eat cake thing. Let them eat cake triggered the rage of people, of their perception of not being in power, because only the rich are there. How outrageous dare they be and be in these costumes and the 75k tickets for the event and all of that ridiculous part where other parts of the world are falling apart and people are dying. By the way, this has been the case for more than 100 years, 200, 300, 400, 500, 1,000 years. We just never had the opportunity to be that close because of social media. That doesn't make it better or justify or fair or any of that. Just that now we have this mirror, the projection wall. And what we saw in this, and it's taken an interesting twist over there. I don't know if you're still following that conversation on TikTok. They're not only blocking celebrities now, they're also blocking huge brands, corporations. It's really interesting. There's another dynamic. But still, this is catering to the rage of people, the rage of feeling disempowered. And disempowerment, the emotional corner, if you want, is just a neighbor of feeling helpless, of feeling uncertain, of feeling fear. It's the same area that is triggered within someone, just that with that, the top layer that is coming out there is rage. But by the way, that is the same if you look at the marketing of the right-wing parties, no matter which country, they market to fear, but in a way that causes rage. It's the same story, it's the same dynamics, it's the same narrative. Because they want their audience to be pissed off with the establishment and have the rage of how unfair it is that their needs are not met. And then they put in the fear of, oh my goodness, if you keep going there, then imagine what's going to happen. Just come over here. It's populist. It's the same story. We just got to be aware. So get your ass out of where you're focusing too much, like blinds on, okay? You got to reconnect back to this and get to your next level of clarity in your leadership, in your visionary identity. That is what I'm supporting people with. And if that is where you are at right now, then I really want you to DM me. There's 3 spots now in July and June. And as I am specifically only offering this option at the moment, and also throughout, it's going to be the next month, it's going to be like that. It's not going to change, to work with me one-on-one. But what you can choose is you can book a single session, but you can also come on in for a month or a year. That is where you have flexibility, okay? So I said before, I dropped all these containers of this has to be 6 months or it has to be like that, right? You can book the quantity if you want that meets your needs and your desires best, because sometimes we just need a couple of sessions. Sometimes we really need 6 months or whatever long it is. Like my other client, I just happily let go and celebrated after 2 years in different modalities, right? She was at the point she was completely ready, and I was celebrating her for just letting her go because she was so ready to spread her own wings and own herself without me as a safety net anymore. And that was amazing, right? So that is what I wanted to share with you. Let me know if you're catching this in the replay. Also, let me know what is a takeaway, what is a question that is coming up, anything else that you want to know, that you want to add. Also, reflect. And I'm curious to know, I'm really curious to know, is there any other areas in the world, stuff that you are observing, topics, other industries, other narratives going on, that where you find drama, if you want, beyond election stuff, if you're in the EU or if you're following this in Europe, or the Let the Meat Cake Met Gala thing, if you look at the narrative around that? Is there any other things, any other topics that you're observing where you can find, now that you've heard and seen how to extract the core dynamics in it, it is the same. Where else can you see that? Where else can you find that? And how can you identify the business opportunity for you? If you want help on that, I'm really good on that. I love doing that. And this is what I'm teaching you then with regards to the business end. Once we come to the core and disrupting yourself, then we're going to take your business and transcend it towards that direction. And then it will grow again automatically. It's the inevitable consequence of going through that process. And then when you know where you're going again, then we can look at, okay, what does that mean with regards to social media? Is there anything you need to change in your messaging? You know, then we can twist and tweak and evolve that as well. But take your ass out of it right now. Don't try to optimize even more or try to find a solution in growing your business, expanding into a more impact-driven and a more purpose-driven business by searching in these boxes, if you want, right? And you won't get there either when you just dig deeper in your self-healing journey. If you only focus on that and then dig a bit on the social platforms or on the latest trends on Instagram Reels or whatever it is, you're not going to get there, all right? My loves, that is it for today. I enjoyed this. I hope you get a few impulses from this. Let me know in the comments. And then also, if you want to work with me, if you want to explore that, just drop me a DM. You can just send me a message in here and then we figure it out. Have a great week.